I want to share with you something that I see far too often, and it ends up costing people way more money than it really should. And that's that they leave their remortgage too late. And it isn't because they're careless, but it's really because no one's really explained to you how the process really works, or even when you should start thinking about your remortgage. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through what a remortgage really is, why timing matters more than most people even realize, a real life example of what happens with one of my clients when you cut it really fine, and a quick glimpse at something I'm building that could take this off your plate entirely. But before we get into this, if you find this kind of insight useful, please just take 1 second to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because it really helps more people just like you find this information, and it means you won't miss any future updates. So here we go. What is a remortgage? Simply, it's when you switch from your current deal or your current mortgage deal onto a new one. Now that deal might be with the same lender, and that's what we call what's called a product transfer, or it could be with a different one. People remortgage for lots of different reasons. It could just be to get a better rate in the market. It could be to reduce monthly payments. It could be to raise money for home improvements, private schooling, investments, or simply, and the most common one, it's just to avoid dropping onto your lender's default rate when your current deal ends. Now, that last one is very important because every mortgage deal has an expiry date. And when it ends, unless you line something else up, you'll move on to what's called the standard variable rate, or the SVR. And that's really important to know because that's usually a lot higher than the deal you are currently on or were on. Even a small jump in rate can mean paying a lot more each month. And that's money you could keep in your pocket if you plan ahead. Now, here's where most people go wrong. And honestly, it's no fault of their own. They get busy with life and they effectively wait for a letter to turn up from their current lender. Usually, this happens about 4 to 6 weeks before their deal ends. Well, you might say, well, what's the problem there? The problem is that's often too late to explore your best options by opening up the market. So what ends up happening, you've got limited time, you get backed up into a corner, and so you end up either accepting a slightly higher rate just to get it done in time, or even worse, you fall onto the SVR for a month or two while you get the new deal sorted. Look, here's a real life example for you. A property investor, a couple, came to me recently. It was for a remortgage for their main residence, but they're pretty astute investors. They already had quite a few investment properties. When they'd originally taken the mortgage, their circumstances meant we had to go with what's called a subprime lender. These lenders are a lot more flexible with their criteria, but in exchange for that flexibility, their rates are typically a bit higher. And we were hoping this time round that we could take advantage of a high street lender with much better rates. Fast forward to now, they got the letter from their lender. They were just very busy. It was 1 month before their deal ended. They phoned me up saying their rate was about to expire and that they'd move on to the standard variable rate. Just to give you some numbers here, the current rate was around 6%. The SVR was almost 9%. Now, here's the thing that could have saved them a lot of money. If they'd given me more time, and by more time I mean I need a maximum of 6 months before their rate expires, that enables me to fully assess the market, benchmark whether it's cheaper and better to stay with their current lender and avoid the hassle of solicitors and paperwork and the faff and time, or is it worth the time and the hassle to use the solicitors to get a much better rate with a different lender? So if they'd given me that more time, I could have moved them onto a high street lender at a rate in the low 4% range. But because they only gave me 1 month, we were lucky to complete before they even went on to that SVR. So the best we could do was a rate just under 7%. So it's still better than the SVR, but not nearly as good as it could have been. Had they come to me 2 or 3 months earlier, we would have had plenty of time to lock in that better deal And I'm telling you now, I don't need to say it, but they obviously really regret not doing that. And the diary's already earmarked for 6 months prior. Now, the majority of my clients are high achievers. They're time poor professionals, people probably just like you. It's not that you don't understand the numbers and the figures and the importance of what we're talking about. It's that you're just juggling a highly successful career, multiple investments. You've probably got a family, and you've got a social life. So checking a mortgage expiry date amongst all those other things just isn't a priority until suddenly it is. So this is something I keep seeing a lot of, and it's exactly why I've been building something very quietly behind the scenes. It's a simple, free tool that just tracks your mortgage expiry date for you. We won't do any chasing, we won't deliver any spam, there'll be no pressure, but you'll just get a reminder 6 months before your deal ends so that you can just plan ahead calmly and strategically. But here's what I'd like you to do now. First one, check when your current deal ends, even if it's not for a few years. 2, follow me on Instagram because that's where I'll be releasing all the details of the tracker. I mean, you could easily reference back to it if you need to. And 3, if you found this video useful, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone you know who has a mortgage. The more people who see this, the fewer people that will get caught out. If you want to take advantage of this, just head down to the comments section, hit like, subscribe, click the link, and you can sign up for free.